Special guest because I never get him on this stuff. Never. But for damn, it's been all our lives. This is my younger brother. So this is Will, and one of the guys that he's a brain trust. And I hope everybody has somebody like him in their lives. So salute to him for coming on. So the question I had, I just got off work and I've been burning all day. I was gonna hit you up at lunch and everything.
Look like you've been brewing on this one, boy.
Man. So this morning I was listening to a radio thing, a radio show, morning show, and a lady got on and she was just flaming this guy that she had just met. They went out on, I want to say, one date, but she was dumping him already because he didn't pay for her babysitter. Now, is this a thing?
It's a thing, but it shouldn't be.
Okay,
It,
so yeah, keep
yeah,
going.
it's to be honest, man. Today we live in such a hustle man mentality that if anybody will do something for you for free, that's what everybody wants to gang in on, and I can't get past it.
Right. So I mean, she was really like, I think it was more her frustrations were coming out in the just in knowing like I have all these things to do, but she added that to the list of things that were his responsibility. And I might see, I don't know, maybe if they had been dating for, I don't know, some time, and he was kind of helping out. But at any point, is he
No, bro.
responsible?
No, but see, even if they're dating, right? Unless you're married, you're not responsible for that child.
True.
It, you know what I'm saying? It's a blessing if one chooses to go that route, right? But you're never responsible for someone else's child. Just like if you try to discipline someone else's child, like you can go to
Mhm.
jail for that shit, right? So
Right.
I don't. I'm not with it.
No, I didn't agree right off the bat. And the place that I went, because we both been fathers in our own right outside of a marriage or relationship. So there's single
Right.
fatherhood. Could you imagine ever asking a woman to pay for your support?
Right, and that's what absolutely not. And that's why I say we get comfortable to where we're comfortable asking people for stuff. Man, back in my day, I wouldn't even ask my grandmother for money because you already knew what the response was going to be.
Right.
You know, and so I'm still not sure where this easy man mentality comes from, man. But it's exactly why we have the problems that we have in the world, where they're firing people because they feel like they're not putting in enough effort.
Right. Right.
You gotta
Yeah.
want to grind, man. You gotta want to take it there.
Yeah, it had just such an entitled ring to it. And
Yeah.
she wasn't just saying it as a matter of fact. She was almost attacking this man's character. And this was a man who didn't have kids. So whether he wanted to understand or not, he had no idea of where she was coming from.
Yeah, that is the norm. Now here's the problem, right? Is she's probably, and I haven't even seen it, but I'm pretty sure she was hot because here you want to take me out, but I got a kid and you don't want to help me secure enough time so I can.
Yep. Yeah. And there was a few people that came to his defense because in a lot of cases, how do we know that this woman doesn't have her, like she was saying you should have at least offered. And
Right.
they were saying, well, hey, like how does he know you don't have family that would watch your children? And there's other entities, there's other pieces to this to where it's like, how can I don't think he can be held responsible for this. He
He's
didn't.
never he's never responsible for something that's not his.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing, man. Like dating nowadays, it's changed so much. There are actually women out there who will go on online dating sites just to keep from having to buy groceries. They will
Foodie.
literally set up, yeah, they will set up dates just to go
Yep.
go to free dinners every night.
Yeah, and that's wild because I've seen that where it's like that's been another argument. Hey, I want to order something else for my kids
Right.
on your
Yeah.
on the tab. It's like
Right.
that it's a wild sentiment. But her frustration was clearly from being just pressed under the weight of I'm by myself doing this, but I didn't find that like any form or fashion she had any justification to push this on this guy. And he was trying to be nice about it. And he was
Right.
almost lost. He was almost just like bewildered as to this was actually happening, which I
Well,
kind
how
of
did
felt
they
bad
get
for
to
the
that?
guy.
How did they get to that point in the first place? Right? Is it the first date? Was it conversation over the phone? They agreed to meet. How did it start?
I didn't even get that far as to, oh, we're getting booed. Adonis is saying boo. I-
To
You
what?
know,
You gotta lay your claim if you're gonna talk.
right.
So
Yeah. I want to know like what the pushback is. Like, why would you be responsible? Because this is where early on, like Kevin used to say, are they a liability? And this is a
yeah,
liability immediately. This doesn't even have to be a legal thing. This can just
right.
be a liability immediately to somebody's finances.
Yeah, I mean, if he can't afford it, he can't afford it. And but then she's gonna turn around and complain that he's a broke dude. Can't
Right.
be both ways.
Right.
So
Right. Well, and how are you measuring people anyways? If you're in this circumstance, and I understand people split for a variety of reasons, but then you can't be mad at the people that you're attracting or that you're accepting to take you out. That's almost the measure that you should be putting out ahead of time. So this guy either is willing to do it or he's just going to say, no, I'm good.
right. Well, you also flip side of that coin. So now that she put this pressure on him, now he goes out in the world and he says he never wants to date um, a woman with kids ever again.
Right.
How
Right.
fair is that to everybody else? You know what I mean? So people have to consider that when it comes to relationships, man. Like you got to know where people are coming from.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It I wish I had a snippet because the elevation in her voice, the tone, you could just feel like this wasn't her first time going through this. And they tried to kind of give her that pass, like, well, she's probably dated other people. But again, these are the trappings of being single and with children on either
Right.
side. Like we both have different trappings, but that's still the trappings of it. For guys, if we're single, we still know we have to have X amount of income to still be able to take somebody out and pay for our own sitters if that's the case.
Right. No, I agree. I
Adonis
agree.
wants to know what we're talking about.
I
I
mean,
don't I don't know how much
Adonis
clearer
must
you
be
can be.
young.
Right.
Adonis must be young, and that's okay. It's good to learn. But tell him the topic anyway.
So Adonis, what we're talking about, and anybody else joining, and shout out to everybody in the chat. Where the question was about there was a woman who decided that the guy she had gone on a date with needed to pay for her babysitters, for her children, for her to go out with him. And this is what my brother Will and I are discussing, that we don't feel that that's on that man to have to be able to take that burden on. And
Yeah, I'm gonna
burden
get better
myself,
light.
what's that?
I'm gonna get better light because that
Oh,
light's glaring pretty bad.
yeah, it shows that handsomeness.
Yeah,
Um,
whatever.
but we don't feel like this is that person's responsibility. Adonis, what do you think? Do you agree? Like, should you be paying for somebody else's children in the context of I'm just here to date you. I'm here to take you out. Probably already paying for the meal for the entertainment of the night. Am I responsible? Because at that point, are you responsible for her gas to get there? Are you responsible
Where
for
does it stop?
right paying for the makeup that she says she's going to use to you know configure herself in order to show up proper for you. I've heard that argument too, that you're almost bankrolling every step. And the place that I go with this is it's a lot like some of the photo shoots that I've done where I will put a meter on everything that I've done up to a certain point to say you've paid for all of this. Now I will appear and perform. But
Right,
that's a far different transaction between business and your choice to say I'm going to enter into something intimate because I'm attracted to this person.
right. So, what does Adonis think?
Adonis said okay, and I'm guessing no to the topic.
The
Agreeing.
responsibility.
Right,
Right,
right. Because
right,
again, are they an asset or a liability? And a lot of times I think we go to the stepfather portion of things where it's like when you marry in, now you're legally responsible for these children, but this can immediately be a setback to a guy. because
Yeah, I
one,
mean, first date, man.
right, right.
You know,
So
so does that mean he's
financially,
entitled to anything from her at that point physically?
right,
See, you got to be careful when you're setting the expectation that somebody owes somebody.
correct, correct. And
So,
if he, I mean, if you're just dating, then you know that you will not come first where the children are concerned. So you're
right,
really just paying again for somebody's time. At that point, you've essentially gotten yourself an escort,
right,
and without the guarantee of the night ending how most people would imagine it if they had gone out with somebody they were attracted to.
yeah, no, I agree.
Is this have you I've never come across this. Have you ever
What's
come
that?
across something like that?
What the expectations with the children are concerned
As
in
far as like
that
paying for
scenario?
something like a babysitter.
No, like I mean, shit, at 53, I'm. Yeah, I was always in my younger years. I was married, so I didn't deal with that back then. And
Mm.
nowadays, I'm just it's you know my last few years of dating, it's just been on a different level.
Right. Well, and
So,
as
so I
as
haven't
we
dealt with
age, keep
anybody I
going.
dealt with. Their kids are older. Put it that
Right.
way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's different. And yeah, you were married young. I can't say I've ever come across. I don't even know if I've heard just from a friend that that was a thing. But our era was different too. I don't think the entitlement was as heavy as it is now.
Right, and
When
that's
it
what I was
comes
saying
to
earlier. I mean, you people are just comfortable begging. And before it was like, I'm so prideful, I'm not going to ask anybody for anything. That was our generation. We're now in the generation that it's easier to ask than to go to work. And the reason is because
mm,
stuff like this, YouTube makes it easy, even though it's a lot of work,
right.
but people, they make it appear as though it's easy. So if I can just get enough from you to get me through, then I can invest elsewhere, and it's chaotic.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I don't even know where to go with this. Just where does this end? I mean, I guess it ends where we make it end. If you get this inclination up front, I guess the message for guys or girls, if somebody's expecting you to pay for things that aren't their responsibility up front, you need to cut that off.
Well, not only look at this, right? Here's another scenario. What kind of woman is she if she can't obviously her financial affairs aren't in order if she can't afford to provide childcare for her child? If you're in that position, you probably shouldn't be trying to date anyway. You should be
Right.
working. You know what I'm
What would
saying?
you say to a guy?
Right.
Yeah.
So responsibilities, man. And as a parent, your children are always going to be your responsibility solely.
Yeah.
Anything else is great.
I'm going to add to that hand that you just laid down. It's a full house, but if you can't afford that, then your children may not need to be with you.
True.
Because if you're possibly, and this might be a reach, but if you're getting support, then the person supporting you, which might be with the other parent, maybe they should just be footing everything and keeping the children.
Right. And then you
Uh,
got, of course, on the other side, here's your trump card is, well, I don't have anybody. Baby daddy's gone, but he left. He's in jail. So then where are you at that point? If there's nobody else to even take the responsibility.
yeah, yeah, but you're right. If you can't afford it on either side, and something as simple as, "Hey, Adonis, I appreciate that. We got a subscriber." Uh,
Woo-hoo.
yeah, right. Yeah, if you can't afford it on either end, because I would imagine that if you couldn't afford the makeup, if you're out of your makeup or your perfume or things like that, most people would probably say, I'm not going to go out because I know I can't show up the way that I want to, rather than
Right.
try to say, can you pay for all of these things? That I find that to be that individual's responsibility.
Sure.
And I
You
would
should
want to
never go
know.
anywhere without with the expectation not being able to take care of your own business, man. I don't care what it
Correct.
is. You should let Adonis pick the next topic.
All right, Adonis, do you got a topic?
Any questions you want to know?
Yeah, for real. For real. You got.
That's a good way to get your subscribers interested is to allow them to chime in, and we just kind of regurgitate what they're saying in some cases.
Yeah, just riff. I'm gonna bankroll this into another video that's gonna be coming out.
Right.
There's another one that I saw. This woman, she set the camera up in the console of her car, and she was filming her kids as she's driving. But this was the one where she Adonis don't know. Just it's all right, man. Just think of one. If you got one, you got one. If not, that's cool. We'll just keep going to the next topic. So let us know how you think. But this mother, single mother, she was going to she had asked her 13-year-old for money to pay for the electricity. Now, all you could see is her hands and the console of the car and the kid sitting in the back.
Right.
Manicured nails and long ones. Like these were
Yeah.
luxury nails, not like I have a job and I need to keep looking nice.
Yeah, or I
The,
just let my own grow. Yeah.
right. You could see the leather and the stitching on that bone colored cloth. So you know it was leather. So it's a
Right.
nice vehicle. But the kid said, I don't want to do it. And now she's going to say, I'm going to take back the PS5 you got for your birthday to sell it to pay for the lights. And again, where do we get to this point? Like, and the kids clapped back. They said, well, what happened to the income tax you were talking about? She said, well,
Mm.
I'm an adult, mind your own business. Well, then one of the
Yeah, the
kids said,
adult
but
to
you're
pay their bills.
right, but you're making us pay your bills. And so it's like, man, and this isn't just a dump on women and single mothers, but these are just two glaring examples of there's some real shortcomings when it comes to rearing children and having people understand like really what it takes because guys understand. Nobody's going to come to save you. And I don't know the man. I don't know the man, not just the grown guy. I don't know the man who would take money from his children to pay for the bills.
Especially as it's clear that he spent all the money on vanity.
That's what it was. And I mean, they were firing off on this woman about, well, you need to stop going out so much. Why are you spending money on your boyfriend? And
Mhm.
and her only answer was, I'm an adult, you're the children, stay in your place. And they're like, then
The
why are you
kids were asking
asking
the
us?
question. The kids were
But that
saying, "Why you spending money on your boyfriend?"
she didn't have an answer.
No, I'm saying the kids were asking that, or people
Yeah.
in the comments were asking. Oh, the
No,
kids were
no,
asking.
the kids were, and they didn't even ask. They said you need to stop spending money on your little boyfriend. So yeah,
Yeah.
and
Well, after they wake up, then you know what I'm
right,
saying. You ain't gonna talk to me like that. But yeah, that's pretty. You
but
know, as parents, we got to watch what position we put ourselves in so that our kids can, live free. And not have to worry
especially in
about that.
front of them,
Yeah, it's
especially in
unacceptable.
front of them. If she was really on those hard times, I said, my thoughts were, okay, you at least sit your children down and have a conversation. But whatever conversation she had with them didn't go well. So she decided to not only put this conversation on social media, but their identities as well. You couldn't see her face, but you could see theirs.
Right.
And I just thought, man, this has lose, lose, lose all over it because
So
you're
do you think maybe it was a setup for video likes and stuff, or did it really feel genuine? Because if she's not showing her face, but she's showing them, it makes me wonder if it was staged. Because a lot
right.
of people do that. Like right now, we don't know what's going to come from this conversation one way or the other because there's nothing that we even talked about prior to. And to me, that's the most genuine stuff you can do in this type of world because it's not AI driven, all that crap. So I like the raw, unfiltered videos, but now people are doing everything to kind of yank ratings.
Yeah, yeah, there is definitely clickbait when it comes to that sort of stuff. Um, whether I doubt I don't feel like it was like a stage. I mean, it was clearly staged because they'd had the conversation. Because when the video picked up, she was already mid like barking at them about not giving the money. But it's still a conversation that it's like art imitates life. I
Yeah,
still
because
think
it,
that
it, it does happen. Because my
right.
cousin, and I mean, I doubt they're watching anyway, but my cousin used to take her children's, excuse me, social security number and put bills in their name,
Yeah, yeah,
and that's just crazy, man, for anybody to do that.
right. You're
So
right. I mean, unless you have the means to build your children's credit as you go, but most of the time
to,
people
to yank it like that,
yeah.
no, yeah, you
No,
can't be doing that.
I think there should be fraud attached to that because at some point, yes, you're their parent, but your legal guardianship also means that you're responsible for their well-being. It doesn't mean that you
Right.
just get to abuse an extra social security number and burn down another credit.
Right. Yeah,
But
that's crazy.
yeah, and conversation just kind of ended to your point where you said, when they woke up, that was how she ended the video. Boy, I'm gonna beat you, and then she
Yeah.
clicked it off. And thought that's where logic trumped emotion. She stayed emotional, and this 13-year-old and I think like a 9-year-old sister were talking logically to this woman, and it was like a meltdown that just kept happening, where she's just like, yeah, okay. Adonis got a question, and it must be, yeah. Can you see it?
What's that?
Can you see the question Adonis
Yeah,
had?
I saw it.
Yeah,
So, but
yeah,
yeah, man, it's a crazy world. It's a crazy world.
yeah. I uh I don't know. I was just sitting on that one. And I was like, these are the kind of topics I know we've talked about, just being able to kind of chit chat. And we do it all the time anyways. But I was like,
Right.
why not share knowledge with a wider base of people who may or may not want to hear it? They may not be prepared for it.
I'd love to hear a woman's perspective on it, though. Just to even whether it be a single mother or a woman alone with no children. I guarantee you, the majority of women who have no children would side with us, and the majority of women who have children can relate and would probably side with her.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Because it's all about what you can relate to at that point.
yeah. And unless you are just like swimming in it either through court ordered support or you just got a job where you just have it like that. Yeah, I'm sure at any time any parent has felt the squeeze. I've felt the squeeze, but there was never a time where I thought this is a perfect time to take money, for my
From
children.
somebody, right?
Right.
I'm
In
just
order
used to growing up where if you took something that wasn't yours, man, you got in trouble.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? We were just raised like that. And like my mom didn't play that crap. You didn't ask for something without working for it. There's no handouts where I'm from. So
Right.
I'm hard pressed on just first of all giving away stuff for nothing. But you got to raise your children to where they're not expecting anything for free, man, because somebody's always going to collect back.
No, that's very
So
true.
just like that woman, I guarantee you, out of the 8 dudes that she's actually ran that game on and it was successful, come the end of the date, something happened. You know what I mean? One way or another, either she gave in or she didn't, and it wasn't great. But there are
Yeah.
women who aren't even attracted to the man in any way, shape, or form, but they'll go for that free meal.
That's right. So this comes to like yeah, you're bringing up a great topic, which I've always felt was just kind of maybe from guys to girls, it's different, but don't accept a date from somebody that you wouldn't find yourself attracted to. Like if you're just
Right.
lining them up just for food or something else, that's just one of those things that karma is. Whether you just have a bad date, you get food poisoning, they run out on the bill, or what have you. Like that's just a bad thing to push against your gut instinct. You're almost going against nature at this point.
Yeah.
If your eyes and your gut tell you, this isn't a person I'd be around, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't definitely don't
And
do it.
not times out of 10, again, it's you clearly didn't meet the person in public because you already know what they look like. So it's usually some online stuff. And I mean, man, it just makes it easy again. There's no work invested in meeting somebody. You can click a button and meet somebody. You
I
know what
know.
I'm saying? So,
And that's not our
and then
era.
based on how much interest he puts in her, she can play him. You know what I mean? Like that's dating 101. If you come at a girl, man, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen, blah blah blah, and you're gassing her up, she got you because now
Right.
she knows you'll do anything. You know,
Right.
so
That's a
anybody out there online dating, you got to take it slow, take it easy, man. Don't be quick to
Yep.
yank.
That's been me. Like as a younger guy, you think like that's the whole thing because you get indoctrinated into like you got to give them this, and it almost feeds right into happy wife, happy life. Like you are always fed these measures that as a man you're supposed to do this for the woman, and I think that just being a good human is should be enough. But you're absolutely right. They
It's
sniff
not.
it out as weakness.
Yeah,
They're-
it's not.
oh, Yeah,
Fortunately, the good guys finish last. It's always been like that, and that's the way it is. But those who come in, being a holes to women, it gets their attention.
right.
You come in complimentary, and just being nice. It's it, it's it's gonna get you walked over today.
No, that's
Cam
true.
Newton. Did you see the clip Cam Newton did on the with the lady from Real Housewives or something? He was basically asking her who has it worse in the market, men or women. She said, of course, women. And he says, look, do you know how many men see a woman and how many things women can do to alter themselves? You change
Hmm.
your nails, you change your eyes, you change your lips, you can change all men have the basic change, maybe some hair and veneers.
Right.
The rest of the stuff, like it's the world we live in, and like
Right.
women will spend that money because of the competition.
And it's not instantaneous for guys. Like even if you were to say steroids or male enhancement or something, these are measures over time. You and
Yeah,
I can, unless I shave my head or you like went and got like a full wig put on or something, we don't
right.
change like that.
And
Uh
that was the point that he was saying. You talk about competition, so that means the average Joe male is stuck with what he looks like. So the competition out there is a lot harder for men than it is for women.
right. Right. And we're measured off of, I mean, women are measured off of looks, but there's things we can't change. Like a woman can do enough with a
Correct.
body shape or this or that. There's nothing in the world that I can put on that's going to look normal and make me 6'4". There's
Right.
nothing like
Yeah. Even
there's
those new shoes they got, man.
right.
Who wants to clop around like like Frankenstein doing that shit?
No, and I used to work with a cat who he was kind of big and he was like a boxer and me and him kind of, were kind of at odds because I was dating a girl that worked there and he would always hit on her. And so like I would kind of have to show out like, look, man, like it's not going to be that. And he was probably a little bit taller than you cuz you're about 6'1", correct?
Right.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was a little bit taller. Me and him got cool one day. And don't you know he took off his shoes and he shrank down to shorter than me. He that brother lost about 5 inches. I'm not kidding. He had heels on. And
Wow.
it changed my whole perspective. It changed
Yeah.
everything I thought about him. I mean, we were cool after that, but I was like, "Damn, he did that. He had to do all of that."
All
And
of that just to compete. You know.
yeah, and
And
there was
here's
a
the thing, like women are on that trip right now with the height. I don't understand it. If you're 5'3" as a female, but 5'9" is unacceptable, I don't
right.
understand it.
No,
So
everybody wants the height. And what do we know? Like, what is it? 17% of men are over 6 feet.
you
And
know,
now
and
we're
then you
looking
throw in the salary on top of that, that drops it down to 5.
right.
It's like what was it, the 6 6 6 6 syndrome or something, like 6 figures, 6 feet.
Six
Uh
pack or
yeah,
yeah.
something that they were saying that's like the new thing. Okay, well that less than 6%, I'll tell you that. So
No, for sure. For sure. And well, it shrinks because now you're also talking about, are these men, are they straight for one? Are they married and faithful? Are they even
secure,
right?
stable,
Do they speak your language?
right?
Like if we're talking globally, do they even speak your language? Culturally, would you fit with them? So
Yeah.
there's so many things to this.
And then
And
you throw in mental stability, financial
correct.
stability. Is he beating your butt every night just to have him? So it's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of pieces that yeah, they get overlooked. I didn't see that segment with Cam, but he's not wrong, and it's a sentiment guys have been echoing because tall, dark, and handsome has been a thing.
Right.
That's what it used to be called, tall, dark, and handsome. Now it's tall, rich, and athletic or
Famous. Yeah.
sexual. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 And the average guy has no real shot. And when you look at these numbers of, was it 30% of guys under 30 have reported being a virgin or sexless in the last year of their
Yeah.
lives? That, that means these women are definitely pushing them out and then labeling them as incels.
Yeah.
What is it? Involuntary celibate. Well, yeah, no wonder. No wonder if
Oh,
everybody's shifting and chasing the same 10 guys in a room out of, 100 or 200. Yeah, no wonder.
yeah. And then you still, on top of that, got the nerve to say, "Hey, pay for my kids' babysitter so I can go out with you." Like,
Mm. Right. Right.
so he
I
couldn't have. I mean, I'd be curious to see what he looked like, honestly, man, because there's something in him that lacked that she felt comfortable saying that. I think that if a man is on point with his life and she knew it, she wouldn't try it. You know what I'm saying?
agree.
She would figure out her own stuff because that's a man you want to keep. Therefore, you're going to play the part. And when you play the part, you're acting like you have things that you don't really have. So she would make sure she had babysitting covered just to get him. Then we'll talk about that later on as we go through a few dates. But for her to pop off like that at the gate, she wasn't really into him.
No,
She
well, I
she
learned
wanted the opportunity.
I learned it, well, not recently, but semi recently. It was the one I was dating, and it was like, okay, she wants to go out on a date. I said, okay, cool. What, I understand you got kids, you're a single mom, you're by yourself. Like, let me know what your scheduling is to hook that up, and then we can go from there. And the
Right,
immediate pushback was, well, I don't want to have to plan my own date. I said, okay, cool. I waited a couple weeks. We were chit chatting. I said, "Hey, this Friday, I'm going to come get you." Well, I have to get my, I don't know where I'm going to put my kids exactly.
right. Exactly. That's why I
Exactly.
deferred. That's why I deferred to you. You
Right.
know.
And every dance partner you have is going to have a different idea of what the rhythm is that you're moving to. But that
Right.
was the whole point. Okay, I'll let you lead, but you don't even know where you're going.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's kind of the difference, kings and queens. Queens can move all over the board in any direction. It only takes one move for a king to end a game.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how that worked. But in the end, it was kind of similar to what this lady was trying to do to this guy. And it's just like, well, okay, if that's what you think this is amounting to, that's fine. But we never went out on a date. We've not a second one. The
Right.
first one was already tense enough, but it's like, okay, we'll go down this road. We'll do it your way. And once it didn't work, then she sniffed it out. And it's like, I'm not entertaining this again because there was no gratitude behind it either.
Right. Yeah. But that's why they get used in the end, bro. And then they want to complain about it, and rightfully so. You know, the thing about it, I think today's world, just the word expectation, man, it's an overlooked word because you have people who have a job, but they expect to get value. They expect to get the awards, and we talked about that earlier this morning. You know, relationships, expectations. It's just crazy. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. And to the guy who average guy who used to get the average woman who now thinks that she's above average because a guy who cut above might just entertain her for a night. Now she
Right.
thinks this is her place. And it's like you're still average. And we've heard this. Like there's nothing wrong with being an average person.
Right.
You just work on that. If there's something you can work on, if you're average build, you can work on that. If you're of average money, you can increase certain things if you choose to. But
Right.
once people come in and we'll just allow them for a moment to feel like they're above it, then it's hard to go back. It'd be like I don't have like first class money all the time, but I guarantee if I got bumped up to first class, I'd get real comfortable. And the next time I get on that coach flight, I'm eyeballing those first class
Yeah.
seats. But
Well,
right, right, y'all got
it's
yeah,
funny. Like
slippers.
with the scenario of the woman who didn't have the money for a babysitter, the sympathy that she would get if she was humble enough to feel bad about it, or if she was there to say, I really feel bad. I like this guy. I want to go out, but I don't have babes. Way different than hearing someone cackle with the masculine energy about what you should and shouldn't be doing, and you ain't crap if you don't do it. That's where it makes a whole different scenario.
Hmm.
You
And
know.
that's what happened. He said, And even the DJs and the hosts were saying, "Well, maybe he didn't know." And her words were, "That's my point. Basically he didn't know enough to lead." And it's like, he knew enough to ask you out. He knew enough to set something up. You accepted a date, went out with him. So I tend to think, and a couple people chimed in and said it's more than that. And I think you even touched on it. She must not have been attracted, or there was something intrinsically, intuitively. What word am I looking for?
Yeah.
Intrinsically, that she wasn't vibing with.
PNC. Right.
Yeah, and so therefore that was kind of her excuse, because other than that, if you like the person, isn't that where communication would kick in? I mean, relationships are worked from the jump.
Yeah. And I mean, who's to say you can't just walk around the block, man, and just take a stroll? Why does it have to be something extreme to where I don't know? I just I don't miss the dating scene anymore in this world, man. Because and I mean, shit, you've been by yourself for a minute, so
Yeah,
it's not missed. Not like it used to be when we were in our 30s, where you had to have somebody. But nah,
right.
life today, man, it's good with one.
No, I tell everybody. Good friend of mine, Lisa. She's been married for a minute, and she, we'll talk, and she's like, this is the day I'm going to break my husband's neck, or this or that, and she loves him, but it's
Yeah.
just her way. But I always tell her, I said, Lee, it's a snake pit out here. Do not make that mistake and think like it's sweeter out here, because it's not. It
No,
is not sweet at all.
'cause you got to deal with stuff that, man, I'm out of practice, bro. It's like you can't even go to a club and dance because I
Right,
can't do half the crap people do. You know what I mean? It's just the vibe is different, the lifestyle is different, but that's why I'm okay with staying in my lane.
right, right,
I don't need to do what they do. The question is, can they do what we do?
right.
Can they master and accomplish what we've accomplished in life? So, you can go for the youngsters all you want, but they got to wake up, man, and put the guns down, put the expectations down, and grab some knowledge and, really focus in on what's going on in the world.
Yeah, that's why I like these talks, because like I'd like to, really impart that going into what would be like legacy years, where this is where we get called unk, an OG, and
Yeah,
stuff like that. And I embrace that when I see these younger guys saying stuff like that, because there's a respect about that,
absolutely.
and there's a knowledge that they'll sit and listen to. So whether we've talked finances with people, whether we've just talked life, whether we've just talked, whatever it is, accomplishments, that's really the thing that I would really want to kind of push out to people moving forward. And even if you're not of our demographic, by gender, by culture, by whatever, there's
Age.
still, right. There's still a conversation to be had by everybody who's
Yeah,
got some level of experience, where this counts, or they will have some amount of experience.
even current events, man. There's so much going on in the world right now that if you're not in tuned with life, it's a mess. But I got a break. It was good talking to you, brother. And
Man,
I'll check what you will be on.
yeah, for sure. Do you know the sign off?
Peace, love, unity, solidarity.
My man, my man.
My man. All
All
right,
right, bro.
brother. Love you. I'll talk to you.
I love you, man.
All right, later. Later.
Uh, all right, guys, you heard it, and shout out to Will for jumping in. He's a real humble guy, and so with his permission, next time I will throw out his IG and things like that. You can follow him. He doesn't put out like a whole lot of content like that, but again, he's just one of those really solid people. So I'm really grateful. Guys, what are your thoughts? I didn't see too much in the chats. I saw Adonis. Thank you for the subscription. If you are watching and you haven't subscribed, you are invited to. Subscriptions are free. You can see some of the other videos. I'm going to start doing more of these live chats and having more things going on. So I'd like the activity to be shared, and I want the conversations to have topic matter that we can all kind of have a say in. I don't want this to ever come across as people feeling excluded by gender, by lifestyle, by nationality, by religion, by socioeconomic status. I don't want you guys to feel like you can't be a part of the conversations. I want it to be open for everybody. So um, I would love to hear what you have to say, any part of the world. And if you you want to chime in, chime in. The one thing that I always ask is keep it respectful, keep it in a capacity that we can always look back and think, hey, is this is what conversation is meant to do. It's meant to bring people together. We can deal with trolls all day, and those people I'm just going to ignore in the chats. I had somebody do that the other day, but having questions like what Adonis was asking and things like that. And I want to go back to the beginning. There was somebody else had said hi as well. So I got a couple messages that are held for review. So let's take a look and see what those are. Yeah, looks like just spam links and stuff like that. Oh, somebody said, shite, baby, I love you. Well, thank you. Shout out. That's awesome. I'm not sure what country the flag is from. If you're still in the chat, would love to know where you're watching from. And if you got any ideas, that would be fantastic. In the meantime, you can find me on this channel, Vincent Alfonzo Jamal, and you can find me on Instagram. I haven't been doing too much on Instagram, but feel free to shoot me a follow because that's probably where I would do more DMing and contact with people and things like that. And who knows, maybe I'll go start going live over there as well. Um, I'm on Facebook as well. I got rid of my TikTok. I want to be able to focus in certain areas and not have my content all over the place. And just keep bringing you guys stuff like my brother was saying, current events. So the stuff that I saw was pretty current. We'll talk music. We'll talk. I don't know if we talk politics, but I don't know how you can not talk politics in certain circumstances. So we're just gonna keep pushing this. But in the meantime, I'm gonna play with this. I don't think I've ever seen where can I do green screen? I didn't realize I could do this. So I'm learning new things every day when it comes to this YouTube stuff and being able to go through stuff. So I think so. Yeah, cool. So guys, I'm gonna leave it at that. But feel free to subscribe. I really appreciate the subscriptions. It helps the channel grow. It helps the content grow, and you can share it with people who you might think would enjoy these as well. We'll set up certain days, but I'm just going to keep popping up with some of these, and then you'll see other videos that will be coming out on Thursday afternoons. I also have the second channel, Impact Athletics Association. You can find me there as well. So I'll leave some of that information in the description of the video. And as always, like my brother said, I hope this finds everybody in your place, pursuit, or beginnings of total health, mind, body, and soul. Peace, love, unity, solidarity. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you guys.